In Britain, where I worked as a doctor many years ago, we used to use a cocktail to treat people who were suffering from chronic pain, usually terminal cancer patients. And we didn't want to give them injections, and we didn't want to knock them out. So we used a cocktail which went by the name of the Brompton mixture, after the Brompton Chest Hospital in London, where they first devised it. The first of us called it Miss Euphoria, because it made patients somewhat euphoric. It put them in a happy frame of mind, and they could adjust the dose themselves. What this cocktail consisted of was a mixture of varying concentrations, depending on what was needed, of heroin and morphine and cocaine, and a bit of alcohol. We asked the patients whether they preferred brandy or whiskey or whatever, and we put that in. And sometimes if they didn't know, we'd put in vodka, which has no taste. And those who wanted it to taste like medicine, we put in chloroform water, and then we put in a liberal helping of honey, because some of these things are quite bitter. And then patients would take an ounce or so every 2 hours and adjusted themselves according to how much they needed to stay pain-free. Anyway, the pharmacy controlled this understandably very strictly, and they'd only dispense a day's supply per patient at any time. Well, I was working in a hospital in Hampstead in those days, and the ward sister was a lovely lady called Etna Quinn from Donegal, who wasn't a nun. Head nurses in Britain were called sister. Anyway, I arrived to make rounds one Saturday morning, and she said, "You remember Mr. Jones? Well, he died last night before he got his last dose of Miss Euphoria. So we've got one left." And I've always been curious, she said, what it tasted like and what it felt like. What do you say we try it and see? So being an adventurous person, I said, "Sure, bring it on." And we both sipped perhaps a tablespoonful or less of this stuff, which tasted rather nice because of the alcohol and the honey. And then we chatted for a while, and then we started feeling quite happy and light-headed in a pleasant way. And then we floated down the ward, making our ward rounds, nodding left and right. "Hello, Miss Smith, how are you today?" And felt what a good invention this was to give to patients to keep them happy.